All right, we're about to dive into a story that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi horror movie, but it is 100% real. We're going to get to know a microscopic parasite with a life cycle that is as terrifying as it is brilliant. And it all starts somewhere very, very familiar, right on our dinner plate. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's a pretty chilling thought, right? You've just had a great meal, and then you become the meal from the inside out. Now, look, it's rare, but for some people, this isn't some hypothetical question. It's the reality of an infection caused by a truly invisible invader. So let's meet our antagonist, Trichinella spiralis. This tiny little roundworm is the bad guy behind a nasty disease called trichinosis. And you have to give it credit, it's an absolute master of survival, basically turning its host's own body into both a fortress and a nursery. So how in the world does this microscopic menace get past all our defenses and set up shop inside a host as big as a human? Well, the whole invasion doesn't start with some big dramatic battle. It starts with a single, simple act. Yep, it all starts on a dinner plate. The infection, almost every single time, is traced back to eating meat that just wasn't cooked enough. We're talking particularly about pork or even wild game animals like bear that's already carrying these tiny dormant parasites. This is the exact moment the parasite has been waiting for. Once it's in, this parasite does not waste any time. It launches this lightning-fast offensive, turning the host's digestive system into its first base of operations. You know, what's really wild here is just the sheer speed of it all. The larvae that were eaten, they break free, and boom, right into the intestinal lining. In less than a day, they're fully mature adults. They mate, the female burrows deep into your intestinal wall, and by day 5, she starts releasing a whole new generation of live larvae directly into her host. And this is where the numbers just get staggering. A single female worm can unleash around 1,500 new larvae. So you can see this isn't just some small-scale problem anymore. This is a full-blown internal army being assembled right inside you. So, with this new army born and ready to go, the next phase begins. And this phase isn't about hanging out in the gut. No, it's not conquering new territory. It's time for what we call the Great Migration. These newborn larvae are incredibly resourceful. They punch right through the intestinal wall to get access to the body's own internal highways, the lymphatic system and the bloodstream. From there, they basically hitch a ride to, well, everywhere, every part of the host's body. And listen, this migration isn't some quick little sprint. It's a long, drawn-out siege. The scattering of these larvae can last from week 4 all the way to week 16 after the infection starts. That means for months, these microscopic invaders are just traveling throughout your body, looking for their final destination. And where do they finally settle down? Their preferred real estate is your striated muscle tissue, the muscles that actually move your body. Once a larva finds a muscle fiber it likes, it coils up and literally engineers its own protective shell called a cyst. Inside this little bunker, it can stay dormant and alive for years. Okay, so as these parasites are settling in for the long haul, the host's body starts to show the really devastating effects of this widespread invasion. The battle for control is officially on, and the damage, it's significant. This clinical description, wow. It really paints a grim picture of what's happening at the cellular level. The muscle fibers that are hosting these parasites, they swell up, they get deformed, they even become paralyzed. The body's immune cells, they rush to the site, but they're basically trying to fight in a war zone where the enemy is literally embedded inside your own tissue. And the symptoms you feel, they perfectly mirror the parasite's journey. The first few days, that's all stomach problems as the adult worms take over the intestine. But then, as the new larvae start their big migration, the symptoms spread everywhere, affecting the muscles, the circulatory system, and yep, even the brain.
And the range of this attack is it's staggering. It starts with stuff like nausea, but then it moves on to the classic signs, like swelling around the eyes, severe muscle pain, fever. The invasion can even hit the heart, causing chest pain, or the brain, leading to anything from headaches to delirium. It really is a whole body siege.
Now, as totally dire as all of this sounds, the story doesn't end here. The good news is that medical science has ways to fight back, and even more importantly, we have a nearly foolproof way to stop this invasion from ever getting started. Diagnosing this is kind of like a detective story. Doctors look at the very unique cluster of symptoms. They ask that crucial question, have you eaten any undercooked meat recently? And then they confirm their suspicions with lab tests. High levels of certain immune cells and elevated muscle enzymes are major clues, followed by specific antibody tests to finally unmask the invader. So after all of that, the most important point is this. The entire complicated, dangerous life cycle we just walked through, it all hinges on one single point of failure: undercooked meat. For humans, we're the end of the line for this parasite. And the solution is, thankfully, remarkably simple. Just cook your meat to a safe temperature. That's it. It kills the larvae and stops this whole invasion before it can even begin. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This parasite has been perfecting its survival strategy for eons, for millions of years, yet its entire chain of infection can be completely broken by a simple kitchen tool and a little bit of knowledge. It really makes you wonder, what other huge, complex problems out there might have surprisingly simple solutions hiding in plain sight?